All right, we will go ahead and call our meeting into order for the our October 12th Purchasing Committee meeting. Madam Clerk, if you would please call the roll.
Commissioner Cook? Here. Commissioner Gammon?
Here.
Commissioner McAdoo?
Here.
Commissioner Key?
Here.
Commissioner Buchanan? Commissioner Gooch? Chairman Ketron?
Here. All right, we still have a quorum. Is there approval? Has anybody read the minutes? Is there a motion to approve the minutes from our September 21st meeting? Anybody read the minutes? Somebody said they did. Got a motion to approve.
Second.
Any additions or deletions? Seeing none, all those in favor, adoption of the minutes, signify by saying aye. All opposed, motion carries. Kojak. Hey, Kojak. But you. Kojak was always eating a Tootsie Roll pop, and Miss Carol's eating her Halloween candy. All right. All right, members, we have before us new bids, exterior painting and window replacement. It's my understanding that no bids were received, so I need a motion for us to rebid. Talk to our maintenance director, Ben Mankin. Maybe we're going to change the wording on this because we had a gentleman call yesterday from Nashville. He did not realize it was too late for him to get a bid put together before today. He's interested. And we're going to change it and remove exterior painting. Some people may interpret that as just right off the bat painting the whole 5 stories, and that's not what we're trying to do. All we're trying to do is paint around a little bit of painting around the window replacement. So that's the main thrust of this for the 20 North building. So I'll entertain a motion to rebid the window package at 20 North.
I'll make a bid. Motion that we rebid and change.
Have a motion to rebid the window package at 20 North and a second from Commissioner Cook. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All opposed, motion carries. Laura, get that rebid and we'll send that back out. Get the correction on removing exterior painting and we'll put in window replacement. Because I know that Pella, when I talked to Pella Windows in Nashville, they were very much interested last week. I noticed they had stickers on a building today when we were in Nashville, and last week they had stickers on all the windows going in down on 2nd Avenue where the Christmas Day bombing was. So they don't have a problem in handling anything over 2 stories, which sometimes is a problem. Okay, next we have we took under advisement from our last meeting on September the 21st, we took the uniforms for EMS. Mr. Keith, if you would please come on up and make your recommendation. You took it under advisement because it was a complicated, a lot of items to look at, so I know you had to go through. After you distribute that, you're recognized in the well, and then you can make your recommendation back to us. Thank you, sir.
The items there on the left is every item that we bid out, and then the vendors are up at the top. The prices that we put in the squares were the price per item, and then if they bid on it or if they didn't bid on it. But we only had 2 vendors this year, and the ones in green are the lowest bids, and I'm asking to go with the prices that are in green.
Okay, Keith, they don't have a problem in accepting broken up bids like that, do they? They just, whatever is in green, they'll take it, right? Members, you've heard the recommendation on the EMS uniforms. Motion to accept all those items that are on your spreadsheet in front of you that are highlighted in green. And got a second. Is there any further discussion or questions? Seeing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All opposed, motion carries. Thank you, Keith. Next, members, we have our fuel service presentation. Mr. Sandlin, you're recognized.
Mayor, Commissioners, last month we took this under advisement. I've actually not heard from anybody, but we have two representatives here, one from WEX and one from Tristar. So I would like to give them an opportunity to tell us anything in addition to or any particulars that we need to know before deciding. So,
Okay, no one from Rogers, right?
no,
Okay.
Rogers is not here.
WEX is next on my list.
WEX and Tristar, yes, sir.
Okay, we'll let WEX come up. Hi there. If you would, just identify yourself for the record. You're recognized.
Thank you for letting me be here. I'm Katie with WEX, Katie Swartfigger, and I have some handouts here for, I think I printed exactly 6, so, because my printer ran out of ink. I'll hand these out to you guys. This is locations. Okay. Okay.
Talk to them while I'm handing them out.
Okay, let me keep a copy,
Okay.
because I think I had enough.
Katie?
Okay, so thanks for having me back. I did make a kind of a short presentation about our fuel card program. We are, I think today, Rutherford County is currently using Rogers, is that right? D&D?
Right.
Okay. And we are, so today, from what I understand, the locations that you can fuel at, there's 4 locations that give you discounts, right? And the cards are locked down to those 4 locations, correct? Or 4 or 5?
Yes, anybody that takes, what's it called, Pride?
Pack Pride?
Yes.
Okay. And I think there's 4 or 5 in Rutherford County. So when somebody is out away from the fuel tank, on-site fuel, which, so we're totally separate from the Tristar, the Rogers, or, you know, we do not deliver fuel. We are a payment processing company, much like, you know, our competitor would be like Fuelman, which I think is what the network is that you're on today with Rogers, correct? Okay. But that card is actually locked down to those locations that give you a discount, which does cause some inconvenience for, you know, EMS drivers, you know, all over the county. They have to only go to those 4 locations to get fuel, so they're going to go out of their way. So our proposal is really, we don't offer cost-plus pricing, which is what you're getting today with Rogers. We offer discounts, and I do have that on here, but the main thing is, you know, we are a card, we're a closed-loop network, we're not MasterCard, we are a fuel card. So we can lock the cards down to fuel only. This card would be branded WEX, ExxonMobil, and Enterprise. It's kind of complicated. It's a tri-brand, and I do have the Enterprise rep here with me today. So Rutherford County is currently using Enterprise as a fleet management service. WEX works with Enterprise, so our data feeds together, and it helps with the Enterprise vehicles as far as being able to see data. So we do offer, it's ExxonMobil. Now, however, the card would go to all WEX accepting locations. And I have a list printed back here of over 157 locations in Rutherford County that all of your, drivers could fuel at. The highlighted 18 ExxonMobils is where we give the discount. However, our discount is 5 cents per gallon, and I have that all laid out in this packet here for you. So you do get 5 cents per gallon on gas and diesel at all of the ExxonMobil locations. In addition to that, we were able to get a 60 basis points offer, which is from Enterprise. So because you guys are already with Enterprise, they are conceding. So we're able to give you a discount on all fuel at all of these locations, not just the 18 ExxonMobil sites. So you're going to get 60 basis points, which is 0.06% of your total volume. If you flip over, I just kind of put like how our reporting works, an example of that. We have a online account management system that's very easy to use, robust system. Each department, if one department wanted to set up to test out the card, I would help them get onboarded. I would show them the online website and get them used to how that works, so they're not like lost. So I would be the representative for that. And then if you go over to the 5th page, this is the breakdown of the savings, which I know is how you guys probably make most of your decisions, is based on budget. So there's really not a way for me to compare discounts on diesel versus cost plus pricing, because I used to sell cost plus pricing and it's very tricky because it changes on a daily basis, and the client really never knows what their discount is. I mean, because rack changes, freight, there's all kinds of variables that will change the price and the discount every single day. So with us, what I'm proposing is, this is what you will save. Like, what you're getting with this program. I couldn't compare it to what you're getting today, because there's just no way for me to know what the retail price was, because it's not on your transaction reports. And so I went ahead and I netted the state and federal taxes, because when we invoice, we will net state and federal tax like what you have today. So the average price per gallon is down to $2.56. That's with the taxes taken out. I averaged the Rutherford County in total at 30,000 gallons a month. That may be over projecting a little bit. I know that you have on-site fuel as well, but this would just be for the card usage. And then we average about 60% in network, so 60% of our card users usually go to an ExxonMobil. The card says ExxonMobil on it. They don't have to go to an ExxonMobil, but if it says it on it, usually that they want to direct them to go there. Just to get the extra savings, and that's usually not a problem with most fleets. But if they have to go somewhere else, they can. So at 60% of your volume being, let's just say, this is just a for instance, 60% at ExxonMobil, then you jump down here with the 60 basis points on total volume, that's with taxes taken out. You're looking at 1.77% savings on your total fuel spend, which is 177 basis points. $16,000 a year, about, roughly.
How much?
About $16,329.
Savings?
Yes, sir.
And then if you take the .06,
So the 60 basis points is calculated into, on page 5.
that's already figured in?
Yes.
Okay, so it's not an addition to.
So the 60 basis points is on total volume, so it's on total 30,000 gallons.
So if, okay,
So the average, I guess, we could compare your monthly $76,800. I don't know what your current month. Last transaction report that I had was from 2019. So you could compare this to your total, what you're paying total monthly. If you're at 30,000 gallons a month, the last time I got a transaction report, I think you guys were at like 25,000 gallons a month on the cards. So I figured it probably had gone up in the past 2 years. But you could take, this total average monthly spend and, back out the 16,000, compare it to what your current monthly spend is. This is all just, average numbers, there's not really a way for me to do apples to apples. So, we do waive any card fee. WEX usually does have a card fee. I will waive that. That's on the agreement, but it'll be waived. No setup fee. Now, as far as billing, today, does each department get their own bill for their fuel cards, or does it all come to one central location?
Each department.
Okay.
Yeah. It's their own, and then it's broken out.
Okay.
then it goes to the director of that department, and it comes to my office, dual signatures before it goes up to finance for
Okay.
reimbursement.
So we could set up each department with their own, basically, account number. Then they would be able to get a bill directly to that department. We can have the hierarchy as Rutherford County, where you could log in and see all the departments listed, under Rutherford County. So you'd have a total. And then, so our online system lets us break it down that way, and then we can send a bill to each location. Yeah. Our online services are great. They can terminate a card immediately online. You can add drivers, order cards, terminate drivers. So I'm not sure how that works with Rogers today. How we can do that also. Yeah. Okay. So our site's very user-friendly. Would love to give you a tutorial if you guys, or will give you a tutorial if you guys decide that this is, something that you want to do. Is there any questions for me as far as, sorry.
No questions? Okay, seeing none. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Okay, next, Tristar Energy. Gentlemen? If you would, state your name for the record.
I'm Jordan Broyles with Tristar Energy. Yeah, Katie does have a great product. We do as well. It's just a little different. We do the cost plus pricing. We base that off the shell rack for that day. So for today, your cost would have been $2.89 on gas. We've seen $2.99 retail most places. So you're going to save 10 cents a gallon there. We do have our own portal as well that we've just opened up recently, where you can request new cards, cancel a card if anyone changes positions, anything like that. We can bill by department, same breakdowns. And, you know, we've had that for a while, but this portal is something new that has really helped us in terms of that. 100% fraud protection on all the cards. I mean, we really think we have a great product with the cost plus pricing. You know, generally, like today, I said you'll save 10 cents. The market's very tight right now. I mean, it's a very competitive market in Murfreesboro. But sometimes you could save as much as 18 to 25 cents on gas, just depending on what retail is versus cost that day. We won the sheriff's bid, and we know you guys had the option to piggyback off that. I mean, I'm here for any questions that anyone has.
Any questions?
Thanks.
Come on. I got some questions.
Mayor, I want to commend Wax, and then we've been doing business with actually D&D for a number of years, and which has been bought out by Rogers Petroleum, and so we've been working with them since the buyout. And of course, we bid this out. Last month, we awarded it to Tristar Energy for the Sheriff's Department. And strictly why they did that is...
Mr. Sandlin?
Yes, sir.
Hang on just a second.
Okay.
I'm getting a signal from our director at EMS, Director Hutchins. Would you like to come up? You all right? You don't get nervous?
I'm interested in something like this for 2 or 3 reasons. One, gives me more accessibility to fuel.
Which one are you talking about? Are you talking about wax?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you're interested in wax because it gives you more flexibility?
Gives me a lot more flexibility, and I can get my ambulances back in service a whole lot quicker. For instance, like in Laverne, I'm having to come to Smyrna to get my fuel. It would really be a convenience, and keep my ambulance in the zones a lot more versus having to go 7, 8, 10 miles out of the way just to get fuel.
So what you're asking is to possibly look at doing a trial?
I was wondering, is it possible we could do a 2 or 3 month trial just on my department and let us try and see what savings there is and see if it's working before we could actually commit to something? I didn't know if that was a possibility to do.
It's up to this committee.
Let me finish my statements that I was making there. One of the things that I checked on, Mayor, was trying to compare the apples to apples, which is a hard thing to do with the way Wax does business. I think they've got a good product, but the only problem is I was looking at a 12 to 15% or 12 or 15 cent difference. And the difference is the rack rate scale and then your discount on top of that. We're going off of Wax as a retail price and then a discount. So with Enterprise coming in at 5 cents, that's making up part of that difference, but we're still not to that 12 or 15 cent difference of savings. So, you're at 11 cents if I'm doing my math correct. And you're still just operating with Exxon, correct? Now, you could be wide open to any store. Yes or no?
Yeah, at
Any-
location that I print out, locations.
Okay, so any of the, not just Exxon, they're,
And you're getting
correct.
the 5 cents that Exxon Mobil. Now, the total like.
Okay. So what I was going to come back with you tonight would be Tristar, because of the 11 cent, actually it's more than that. But if we want to do a trial with the ambulance service and give them a whirl, then we can.
Well,
But it's not a true comparison to apples to apples.
well, let me dig a little bit deeper for myself, and it's strictly up to the purchasing committee. So, trying to get to what Carl's looking at. Carl, if we're trying to get your response time down as fast as possible, because that seconds means lives for your ambulances, and if they're having to drive to Smyrna, so can we ask Tristar, are there locations in Laverne?
What are your Tristar locations? We had it on the first presentation last month. One reason why the Sheriff's Department, why he's looking that up, we went with Tristar because they had bulk fuel. This other division part of the county is not going to use bulk except for the solid waste department. It's not going to be that much. You're talking.
But Sheriff's Department's got that large tank out
Yeah.
there, and they buy in bulk.
Yes.
And of course, WEX doesn't provide the bulk
Right.
fuel, which Tristar does. So these are all,
What was your locations? Come on up so they can hear you. And
Nashville too?
Nashville?
too?
Oh, yeah, I mean, in terms of this area, we have.
so we have a hospital in HCA hospital in Smyrna, so we've got ambulances there, and many times ambulances here in Murfreesboro and Laverne or Eagleville will have to transport to Vanderbilt or Skyline or somewhere. And many times they leave their vehicles running while they're unloading the patient and getting it in, once we figured out how to lock them while they're still running.
I'm going to tell you how that works, but
Yeah.
we fixed it.
Somebody decided to get in and drive one off one time.
So Carl, how many ambulances, vehicles you would be using in this trial for? You do have a few still diesel, or no?
I have a few. I was asking Keith a while ago how many diesels we have left, and honestly, I
So you can run off of diesel and gas, so either one, and the DEF fuel if you need DEF, on our card. So if you wanted to do a trial, what would you say minimum, a 3-month minimum? Because you got to print the cards and do all that. We need to give them at least 3 months to 6 months to.
I would say at least, probably
6 months.
All right, Commissioner? Again?
Yeah, this is a tough one, but I like the idea, with, especially down the north end of the county as well. I mean, I'd hate to know that I'm, especially the way my health's been lately, need an ambulance down there and you're in Murfreesboro fueling up, But I want to make sure we can do the apples to apples. Is it possible we can go with Tristar and just go with maybe that's what you're talking about, and just go with WAX for a trial with this one department, And if so, if Carl could possibly get us what he spends in an average.
Well, I can give you all those reports.
Yeah.
They're computerized.
That's all I had.
Well, it's up to the committee. Commissioner Key?
Carl, could you tell us how would you break it down if we're going to ask for like itemized billing? Like, I mean, ambulances, yes, but would you do it by zone? Would you do it by?
It would be hard to do by zone. I was saying just do the overall,
The whole thing?
the whole thing.
Okay.
Or I could just do the north end of the county.
Because I'd like to see how their system itemized.
Right.
But you may not need that, though. I mean,
The ambulances are jumping zones, and I can't compare zones. That'd be impossible to do.
Commissioner McAdoo?
I like the idea of doing the trial.
Can you use your mic? Commissioner, can you use your mic? Thank you. Sorry.
I like the idea with the trial, and I like the idea with Wex Bank, because you're talking about a savings, but you fail to realize if I have to take that ambulance and drive 10 miles over here to a specific one just to save some money, what about the 10 miles I spent for the gas to get there? And the reason I bring it up, I used to work with a guy, he drive all the way from Murfreesboro to Laverne to save 3 cents on a gallon. But he drove 20 miles. So I like the idea of the trial. And I like the idea with all these other places, 147 places, you bound to hit one real close to all your ambulances. And I like that idea.
Well, is that? Sure.
I just want to make a correction, though. We're not putting anybody in any jeopardy at all by going with Rogers or Wex or Tristar, because we have plenty of stations, not only in Rutherford County, but Nashville and everywhere we go. So we're not putting anybody in any danger whatsoever by going to this. So, but if we're going to do a trial, I'm saying let's do the whole ambulance department and do 6 months.
Sure.
To be fair for Wax. And then
Mr. Sproles wants to speak.
you'll come back up to the.
You don't get the discount if we don't go to that location. So we're paying regular retail at those locations. That's why. I'm hearing that it's favorable to give the award to Tristar, except for the ambulance, and do a 6-month trial. Is that what I'm hearing?
I'll put that in a motion.
I've got a motion. Second? Discussion.
what are going to be the parameters of success? I mean, how do you know that? What are you going to come back and say in 6 months?
I'm going to look at what we spent in the last 6 months and compare it to the trial in 6 months and see if there's any savings. I mean, it's really the only way I'm going to be able to do it.
So
Mel needs to
something
be
that's
able to
not
do it.
subjective, something that's tangible, like locations for sure, and you know what you've done now,
And I can measure how quick we get our units back in service also. That'll be easy to be measured.
Yeah, the hardest part is with the fluctuating daily price of fuel, is trying to take your last 6 months of what you paid versus it's, that's right. I think, Keith, if Scotty could somehow you all measure your response time, that would be something you need to look at. You get them back in service
I think the quickest way to measure it would be, like, especially when they're crossing back into the county line, they can actually get fuel in Nashville and they're in service while they're coming back from Nashville instead of being out of service to go to Smyrna to get fuel. We can measure those things.
Okay.
I'll measure every possible way that I can measure it to see if there's a benefit versus whatever. But
All right, I have a motion. Commissioner Gammon?
Other quick. Your cost, time, so forth, should be about the same from October to April, those 6 months, than it would any other the other 6 months. Should you understand what I'm saying?
You have more actions in the summertime than you do in the wintertime. Is that what you're saying?
man, I'm just going to be honest, we had 3,700 calls last month, and its population is what our problem is. Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know for some.
It used to be seasonal. I don't think it's seasonal anymore in Rutherford County.
It's just
with our
wide open,
growth.
so.
Other discussions? We have a motion and a second before you. That motion is to give the award to Tristar, except for EMS, and EMS will work with WEX on a 6 months basis. Can you confirm that by tomorrow to let us know if you're willing to make the same offer for that 6 months period, Ms. Katie? All right. If you come back and say that you got to charge for cards or anything else that might jeopardize the offer. Well, we'll go 6 months based on the motion that's before us, and if you come back something different, I can poll the members by phone, and we can go from there. So, Commissioner Gammon.
And I feel sure if for some reason this don't work out, we can add the ambulance to Tristar with no problems.
Sure. Yeah, I'm sure they'll take it. All right.
I just don't want to leave them hanging if something happens.
Sure. All right. Any further discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Motion was on from Commissioner Gammon on the motion, second Commissioner McAdoo. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Congratulations to both of you. And look forward to working with you. Okay. Anything else to come before the committee tonight? Hopefully we'll have some window pricing for you next month before it gets too cold. And I know there's one window over there in 20 North's got a big hole in it. They're going to stick a rag or something in it. Keep the wind from coming in. There's some old windows. Okay. And they're not insulated. So, all right, nothing else, then if you want to stick around and listen to trash talk here in a little while. Okay, before you leave, please come up here and sign these contracts, and I will announce the next meeting, which is November the 16th. You can put that on your calendar. November 16th. We'll get word out to you. Official notice. Okay. Nothing else to come before the order. We'll stand in adjournment.